Okay, so my topic today is immigration slash migration, and Merriam-Webster defines the word immigrate as to come into a country of which one is not a native for permanent residence. It also defines migrate as to move from one place, region, or locality to another. So basically, immigration means you move from one country that you're not a native of to another and you're settling there permanently. You're not just visiting. And migration is you're moving from one area to another. So whether that means one state to a different state, a city to another one, and that can be permanent or just for a season. So because of the political climate that our country is in, and just based on my own personal experience, this whole video is going to be a little bit more about immigration. I personally am not an immigrant. I was born here, but I have throughout my lifetime known a lot of really incredible and important immigrants, and the most important one to me personally is my grandfather. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's me. I was like 7 and ugly. And this is him. His name was Atanasio, and he was my favorite person in the whole world. He came to America when he was 17. It was 1943, and he came here on a work authorization, but when that expired, he chose to stay here, and he lived here for about 50 years before he became a citizen. I unfortunately never thought to ask him more about his citizenship process, so I don't know if he started like 5 years before or 10 years. I don't really have an idea of what that looked like, but he spent a majority of his important and really formative years in Mexico. He's from Mexico City, but he loved America, and he was so proud all the time to be American, and he always tried to take on American values while still retaining his Mexican traditional values. And one way that he really wanted to show that he was American was by latching on to an American sports team. So in 1968, when the Oakland A's, well, they weren't the Oakland A's, but when the A's relocated to Oakland from Kansas City, he decided, well, okay, that's my team, and I love them, and I support them for some reason. And this was actually, it says athletics on the back of it. This was his jacket. He wore it to games when he was still healthy enough to go. He wore it to the doctor's office when he got sick. He wore it around the house. He wore it to the grocery store. He would wear it to church if my grandma would let him. Like, he wore it all the time because he was just so proud to show off his support for his team. And after he passed away, this was the first thing that I wanted, because to me it just symbolizes so much of his transition from living in Mexico to living in the United States, and just how proud he was to be American. And there's so many other people in my life who have immigrated from Tonga, from India, from European countries. My dad is European heritage. I don't know exactly where, but so many people that I know who have immigrated to America. And I think immigration is something that's really important to talk about when discussing diversity, because America is such a target land for immigrants to come to. So many people in different countries have different perspectives on America, but in general it just seems to be a place where people really want to come and they want to live here. And immigrants have a unique set of struggles that us natural born citizens, we're never going to understand it, because we were born here. We didn't go through the same processes that they did to live here. And keeping that in mind is really important for therapy, because as therapists, we're going to have to empathize with struggles that immigrants have without us ever living through them. So that means keeping in mind potential fears and frustrations that they would have, like maybe they're afraid of law enforcement, or maybe they're frustrated with not knowing English as well as they feel like they should, or maybe they're frustrated with their job conditions. So that's why I think immigration is important, not just with diversity in general, but especially in regards to therapy.